Christopher Columbus, first man to discover the New World.
Except for this guy.
And, well, maybe this guy.
And all these guys.
So let's move on.
What happened when Columbus finally arrived in the New World? He saw a land rife for plundering, especially for the burgeoning slave trade, and convinced the funders Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain to allow him to return 4 more times to tap into this wealthy market.
On his 4th voyage, Columbus hits a huge problem. He gets worms, well, his wooden ships do, and they start to fill with holes. So the captain decides to land his ships in St. Anne's Bay, Jamaica, to repair them.
Due to the difficulty of the repairs, and being of course in Jamaica, which is highly relaxing, it takes Columbus and his crew several months. As they begin to run out of supplies, the crew decides to borrow food and supplies and shelter from the indigenous people without saying please.
No surprise, the local people grow very angry with Columbus and his crew for overstaying their welcome, and the two groups verge on outright war. So Columbus calls a meeting to try and settle the matter. He has an idea.
When the leaders of the indigenous people arrive, Columbus makes an announcement.
The Almighty is unhappy. He doesn't like the way you natives are treating Columbus and his sailors. The Almighty will show his disapproval by removing the moon from the sky.
The natives scoff at Columbus, knowing that no one can know the will of the gods, and return to preparing for battle. However, that night, darkness falls over Jamaica as the moon darkens and then disappears. The wizard has done it! The natives are terrified and run back to Columbus, pleading him to return the moon. They promise food and anything else he and his men want.
A few minutes later, Columbus tells the people that the gods will forgive them and return the moon if they promise to help him as much as possible. They agree, and the moon returns shortly. After, he and his crew have no problems from the native people, and they take whatever he wants: food, gold, supplies, even slaves.
So how did Columbus do it? Did he have a massive moon blocking machine created from coconuts? Did he make a deal with the Dark Lord himself? Was it aliens?
No. Like any sailor, Columbus carried his sky almanac with him, and he knew that at night, a lunar eclipse, when the earth blocks out the light of the sun on the moon, would occur. Christopher Columbus, con artist, liar, genuinely awful person.
If you ask us, the real heroes of this story were the worms.
Fun fact, Columbus didn't discover the earth was round. The ancient Greeks knew about it since 600 BC, and by 1492 it was common knowledge.